Here's the rundown for this edition of the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for clicking into this video. We do appreciate your support. And if you want Niners shows every single day year-round, I have you covered. Just simply hit that subscribe button. Some important Niners injury news to get to in a big week for San Francisco as they prepare for the Kansas City Chiefs. And is the Niners' best cornerback, Deommodore Lenoir, becoming too pricey? Yes, he is their best cornerback. He's playing better than Charvarius Ward. We'll have that conversation on the back end. But let's begin with some Niners injury news. And we start with Ricky Pearsall. Today, on this Monday, October 14th, it marked the return of Ricky. San Francisco opening up the practice window for their first-round pick in Ricky Pearsall. He got shot in downtown San Francisco 44 days ago, August 31st. Now, given what has happened since then, the magnitude of that situation, how much has transpired with the Niners, that does feel like a long time ago. But when you get shot in the chest and now you're back at practice 44 days later, a month and a half, what an incredible story. What an incredible recovery for the 31st overall pick out of Florida. So San Francisco opening up his practice window, but there's really no timetable for when he is going to be game ready. Kyle Shanahan said last week they're going to take their time. He might not be back in game action for the next couple of weeks, and San Francisco is going to take it slow. He's doing well in his recovery. He looked springy and spry and very happy with a lot of youthful energy on the practice field today, but of course has to get back in game action. Also keep in mind during training camp, had the hamstring injury, had the shoulder injury. That kept him a little bit behind from his fellow rookies, and obviously Kyle Shanahan's offense very complex. The scouting report for Ricky Pearsall from myself, because a lot of people are like, man, we haven't talked about Pearsall in a long time. We didn't see him in the preseason. Niner fans who went to training camp barely saw him then because he barely practiced this summer. But while at Florida and before that, while at Arizona State, this is a wide receiver with quick feet, really good route runner. He is slippery. He can play inside or outside. I think at the NFL level, he's more of an inside guy. That's how the Rams use Cooper Kupp. Not just saying that because he's a fellow wide receiver, but I'm saying that from a matchup standpoint, that I think because of his short area quickness, because of his quick get-off at the line of scrimmage, and that lack of long speed, which is different from him running a 4.4 40-yard dash, I think the best matchup for San Francisco is to have him on the inside. He can beat zone and man. Ideally, he's going to be able to beat both. I think that's a big reason why the Niners drafted him where they did, because they saw what happened in the Super Bowl to a player like Deebo Samuel. You're going to enjoy watching Ricky Pearsall, because he is tough as nails. He is a willing blocker. He will take hits. He has no fear going across the middle of the field, and he will climb the ladder and go get it. And with those soft hands and strong hands, he can snatch the ball out of the air. And, of course, Kyle Shanahan wants a player who is going to contribute downfield away from the pass play and be able to block for his teammates. I thought it was pretty funny how in the locker room, his fellow rookie wide receiver Jacob Cowing said that Ricky Pearsall is the coldest white boy I've ever seen. That's a direct quote from Cowing from the Niners locker room, and said that Pearsall is the swaggiest white boy that he's ever seen before. Now, it's funny because a lot of people have actually said the same thing about me. So me and Ricky Pearsall, we're very much alike. As for the Niners' upcoming schedule, Week 7 against the Chiefs, Week 8 against the Dallas Cowboys, who San Francisco should be able to pummel and drive them into the dirt and embarrass them in prime time, especially after seeing what the Detroit Lions did to the Cowboys yesterday on the 82nd birthday for owner Jerry Jones. Not a good way to celebrate, but we celebrated the Lions crushing Dallas. If the Niners can win this game against Kansas City and then beat the Cowboys, you're 5-3 going into the bye. You will certainly take that. That adds magnitude to the Super Bowl 58 rematch. But as far as it pertains to Ricky Pearsall, doubt that he's going to play. Of course, he's not going to play against Kansas City. I doubt he plays against the Cowboys too. But then you give him an extra week with the bye, and maybe he makes his professional debut Week 10 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Slow play here. Niners are very deep at that wide receiver spot. And to be frank here, Ricky Pearsall gives this team youth, juice, swagger. The Niners and George Kittle let him break down the huddle today at practice. He's dancing around. He's showing that swag. He's got some pep in his step. I think that's much needed for a veteran-laden team with a lot of players who have been on this team for years who carry themselves in a manner where obviously they're very professional, but they just don't have that youth juice and swagger. Ricky Pearsall has that, but how about Malik Mustafa, Renardo Green, Isaac Guerendo, Tatum Bethune? They showed that against the Seattle Seahawks, and you know what I've said here on the show. If you're a real one and you watched the show the other day and you watch it every day, how do you stay as a sustainable winner in the National Football League? You replenish the cupboard of talent, you hit on your draft picks, you draft and develop those players that you draft, you sign them to extensions, you pay them, you let some walk, of course, but it's always a revolving door of talent, and you just keep your roster stacked. As for a Jordan Mason update, he was in a blue non-contact jersey today at practice. It's good that he was on the field, right? But a blue non-contact jersey meant that the Niners didn't want anybody hitting him, but at least he was on the practice field doing some drills here. AC joint sprain, he suffered that injury against the Seattle Seahawks. He's now the second leading rusher in the NFL after Derrick Henry had another big day. Could the Niners have more kicker problems? It was San Francisco's expectation after that Seattle game that Matthew Wright, after separating his shoulder, was going to be able to kick against Kansas City, but he was not seen at practice today. Dislocated it. They popped it back in. He went 3 of 3 against Seattle. If you have to look for another kicker, obviously that's not good because points are going to be important against Kansas City. We will monitor his status all throughout the week. Malik Mustafa, not at practice either. Low ankle sprain against Seattle. That's the injury that he suffered. He did say on social media after the game he's going to be okay. That points to it not being a serious injury. George Odom, a career special teamer, did fill in very well for Malik Mustafa. He was one of the highest graded players on that Niners team according to Pro Football Focus. But when you're playing against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, especially coming off a bye, you don't want to be on your third string safety. That's just not where you want to be as a defense. No Jordan Elliott today at practice. He missed week 6 due to a knee injury, a good run-stuffing defensive tackle against New England and against the Seahawks. Niners rush defense actually performed pretty well. They were not good against Arizona. Big reason for that, they couldn't tackle, and the tackling effort was so poor. But since the Javon Hargrave injury, we've kept tabs on the Niners rush defense because he's more of a pass rushing defensive tackle. They've fared okay. You have Kalia Davis back. Sam Okuwano has played really well even though he's playing defensive end. Kevin Givens has made some plays. Jordan Elliott can help you stuff those run gaps. Practice participants today for San Francisco. All of these players on the field. And obviously this is significant given how good Kansas City is coming to Santa Clara Levi Stadium at 5-0. George Kittle, Charvarius Ward, who did not play against the Seahawks, Fred Warner, Demetrius Flannigan Fowles, who's been out in the last couple of games because of a calf injury, a core special teamer right there. If you're interested in a 26-minute Niners-Chiefs preview, the most in-depth preview that you'll find here on YouTube, because, look, the NFL will put out a preview that's like 8 to 10 minutes. We went 26 minutes deep on that bad boy. Everything you need to know for this game coming up between the Niners and the Chiefs, key matchups to watch, keys to the game, score prediction, all of that and more. Be sure to check it out. It's currently up on the channel, and we'll continue to give you that coverage all throughout the week. Today's Niners Report, sponsored by our friends at PrizePicks. We really appreciate them for being one of the great sponsors under the Chat Sports umbrella, and I just love everything that PrizePicks has to offer. It's the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. All you have to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, and right now you get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And you pick 2 or more players. You choose more or less on their projected stats, and you can withdraw your winnings all within the PrizePicks app. Going into Monday Night Football, Bills-Jets, big game in the AFC East. Here are all of our selections. And for instance, Aaron Rodgers, more than 215.5 passing yards. We like the more. Josh Allen, more than 34.5 rushing yards. We like the more. That's how the game works. It's as easy as that. So run your game with PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. Pick PrizePicks. More than 10 million members worldwide. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. You get that special deposit special when you use that link and that code CLNS. All right, next up here on the San Francisco 49ers report. So far here in 2024, Deommodore Lenoir has been the Niners' best cornerback. That's great for the Niners right now, but moving forward, is that a bad thing? Because is he becoming too expensive for the Niners to retain with him being in the final year of his contract? He's playing such great ball in the final year of that deal. He might outprice himself for San Francisco with the Brock Purdy contract extension looming and all of these other players who are already getting paid on this Niners team. What a story this has been. And by the way, I love the confidence of Deommodore Lenoir after shutting down DK Metcalf on Thursday Night Football. He said the hyena can't be effed with. And as a cornerback, you have to have a short memory. You have to forget and flush those bad plays because you're back at it the next play, and you can't give up an explosive after giving up that big play. And Lenoir just plays the game in the manner that you want a cornerback to play. And he's everything that the Niners are about. A player development story who exudes toughness, versatility, willing to play any role, never afraid of the moment. A 5th-round pick out of Oregon in the 2021 NFL Draft who quickly made a name for himself, climbed up the depth chart, made the initial 53 as a rookie, and then carved out a starting role for him where over the last couple of years, he has been a mainstay on this Niners defense, and he's in year 4 right now. He has given up 4 touchdowns in coverage in his NFL career, and he's played excellent corner as a perimeter corner. He's played excellent corner out of the slot, and he's nicknamed fittingly the hyena, as I noted, and he plays like one. He is nasty. He is fearless. He is relentless. He has swagger. He has confidence. And like a hyena, he is always hungry. And whichever wide receiver you put him up against, he wants to go out there and prove that he's one of the game's top corners. And this year, he's playing at an all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber level. That was one of my bold predictions for San Francisco going into this year. Now, when you look at the Pro Football Focus numbers, he has an overall grade of 63.9. This is a classic case of analytics not telling the full story. Our eyes tell us that Lenoir has played excellent, and he has been a shutdown corner in every single way. A coverage grade of 70.4, which is really good. He's only giving up a passer rating allowed of 75. Yards per catch, only 8.3, and he has 4 pass breakups. The 49ers do have so many free agents in this secondary. And this offseason, they really added depth to that room with the likes of Isaac Yiadom, Rock Ya-Sin, Chase Lucas. But you also have Ambry Thomas, who's on an expiring deal. Same can be said for Charvarius Ward. Deommodore Lenoir on an expiring contract. All of those players are not under contract that I just mentioned for the 2025 season. So I think Lenoir is the player that you need to keep and pay in that secondary. If that means that San Francisco has to let Charvarius Ward walk, that's fine. He was a second-team All-Pro last year. He led the NFL in passes defensed. He had a few big plays, including some big interceptions. This year, he admitted he's playing the worst football of his career. He's been nagged by a knee injury, but he could be looking for $15, $20 million per year. Lenoir is working himself up to a category and a stratosphere of where he could demand $13 to $15 million per year. And if you can keep one corner between him and Ward, I'm going Lenoir. He's playing better football. He's younger, and he might, at the end of the day, be a little bit more valuable and affordable for this Niners team. And this is the type of developmental story that you love. The Niners have hit on so many mid to late round picks who have ended up being huge contributors for their team over the last several years during this Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch regime, and Deommodore Lenoir is another one. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram at Chase_Senior. Plenty of short form content that I put up on my social media pages covering the Niners analysis, that and a whole lot more, statistical breakdowns, film studies, all that on my social media pages, in addition to everything that I do here on this channel.